Hello there, what's crack? I like it, and I'm Scotty or not. Welcome back to Birth Month. This was supposed to be Kindergarten Cop, but I passed over it. The movie worked. I just wanted to get to the Austin Powers movies. So yeah, we're talking about Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. I should say Austin Danger Powers. It's a spy with glasses, baby. Yay. And bad teeth. I think I fit in. If only I had hair. Anyway, yeah, you know Austin Powers by now. It's a spoof of the Bond movies. Up until now, though, I didn't catch the references. Now I've seen every Bond movie. I haven't ranked them yet, but I've seen every Bond. I might have to just doing a top 10 Bond movies just to get that done. But now that I've seen all the Bond movies, I can catch some of the references, Certain things like the joke of leaving them dangling over dangerous fish or whatever and not watching to make sure they die, just letting it go, uh, underground layers, certain names, Doctor Who's henchmen being very much caricatures of Bond villains. So, yeah, we'll get there. But the story starts in 1967, where Austin Powers and his assistant, Mrs. Kensington, who I guess is modeled after Emma Poole from The Avengers, who was played by Diana Rigg, who was in Majesties. So, he is sent to take down the evil Dr. Evil, a character originally intended for Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey was doing Liar Liar. Good choice, because it's my favorite Jim Carrey movie, so it's a good choice, as much as I would love to have seen what he would have been like as Dr. Evil. So, instead, Myers himself takes the role of Dr. Evil, and the character itself, in name, is based after Dr. No, after Dr. No, not after, what after is based after Dr. No, but the character in style and look is Ernst Stavro Blofeld. And Lorne Michaels. Yeah, apparently it was based off of that character that was done by Dana Carvey, and Myers stole it, and that caused an issue with the friendship for a while, but they're okay now, I guess. So, Austin and Mrs. Kensington are informed by Basil Exposition, this movie's version of M, that they need to take down Dr. Evil in this place. Dr. Evil gets away. By the way, we don't see Dr. Evil's face. He has this group of people surrounding him, and he kills everyone except for, like, 2 people. Frau Farbissina, who is an amalgamation of Rosa Klebb from, I should mention Blofeld, started in You Only Live Twice. But Rosa Klebb from Russia with Love, and Irma Bunt from Majesties. She's like an amalgamation of that. She yesterday yells, "Send in the clouds!" She did yells. And then there is, I don't remember who she's played by Mindy Sterling. I should say the names. And then you have Mustafa, who I guess is a play on Gobinda from Octopussy. He's played by Will Ferrell, and he dies right away. I like. Although the gag, he doesn't die here. He dies in a future time, and in 30 years, all that happened was that his hair turned gray. It's the gag where he died. He got thrown down there, but he didn't die, so they shoot him, and he was shot in the arm, so he's not dead. And he gets shot again. There are jokes in here. That's a standard Will Ferrell gag, a joke that goes on too long and it's not funny. But there are a few in here, like when Austin talks about the guy who lost his head. He just keeps going and going before Vanessa says, "That's enough." Okay, and I like the side gag at the end, but it may go a little too long. And what's with the picture of the boobs? How can you put that in a PG-13 movie? Also, this is the first time I saw that, because I've seen all the other versions, I guess I've seen on TV, and that's not in there. The whole thing with the guy who's telling him to stop. It was funny when I was a kid, but now I'm just thinking, move out of the fucking way. What? It's not. The one joke that goes on for a long time that I do like is Dr. Evil's shh. Doc, who's that? Shh. Just that the whole shh. Because he does it in all three different ones. How about you doing? How about you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, Scotty don't. Mini Me likes chocolate. Scotty don't. You know, zip it. Exhibit A. When trouble comes along, you must zip it. You know, the whole. I love those jokes. You know. So, Doctor Who. Dr. Evil, that is, gets away in a Bob's Big Boy statue, and he freezes himself and his cat, Mr. Bigglesworth, of course, parodying Blofeld's cat, in ice. It ends up being for 30 years, and we find out that Austin also froze himself in cryogenically for 30 years. There's a joke that Vanilla Ice is frozen in there, and Gary Coleman. Is that supposed to be a joke as to why Gary Coleman never grows? I don't know. But he's unfrozen with two generals there. One of them, a Russian general named Borshevsky, who is supposed to be a parody of General Gogol from the early Bond films, although the character has very little presence. Also, he is the guy. Bimurint? It's that guy. Bimurint? That guy. Austin wakes up, and after a very long pee joke, again, funny when I was a kid, here I'm just saying, okay, can we go? Can we get going, please? Please? Just, how... We're introduced to Miss Kensington, Miss Vanessa Kensington, the daughter of Mrs. Kensington, played by a crush of mine back in the day. I can't remember her freaking name. Elizabeth Hurley. This and Bedazzled. Oof. I don't like what they do with the character. We'll get to that in the second one. It could have been. They could have handled it differently, especially since the character is based on Tracy from Majesties. So you can kind of guess where that character goes, but you never guess how he goes unless you've seen the movies. And the Dr. Evil has now a new assortment of bad guys besides Frau, Mustafa. We have Paddy O'Brien, an Irish villain who is based on Red Grant. And his thing is that he leaves little trinkets, and he says the line, he's always after me Lucky Charms. We have Random Task, who is, of course, Odd Job, because Random Task means odd job. And the difference with him is that he throws a shoe instead of a hat. And as we find out later, that shoe does but fuck all. Nothing. It does nothing. Ow, that really hurt. Who throws a shoe? Honestly. It does nothing. And he's really only here, maybe in a couple scenes in the background, and then at the end. He doesn't do much in this. The competition between him and Bond in the Bond movie was better than we had here. The competition between... I don't know, which is more memorable, the train fight with Red Grant or the toilet scene, which we get another Bond callback, by the way. The toilet scene where he drowns the dude in the toilet, basically. Who does number 2 work for? Which one is more iconic at this point? But in that scene, there is a Texan, played by Tom Arnold, who I guess is a parody of J.W. Pepper. I prefer the Texan, actually. I mean, he was fine in the what was the one he was in first? The Spy Who Loved Me? But in Moonraker... Or no, not The Spy Who Loved Me. It was, what am I thinking of? Was he in The Spy Who Loved Me? I thought it was the New Orleans one. Right? That's... No, I can't think of it. Live and Let Die. Was he in Live and Let Die? I don't remember. They sometimes together, you know. And then we have number 2, who, by the eye patch, is Emilio Largo, who was number 2 in the Thunderball movie, but was number 1 in the book, of course. But, yeah, and he's played by Robert Wagner. Greetings. I am number 2. Yeah, so, yeah, this whole group, and then they kill Mustafa. It takes forever because it's Will Ferrell and it goes on too long. And then Austin is to team with Vanessa, and Vanessa's big running gag is that she doesn't like his teeth because he's from the 60s and British people have bad teeth, I guess. Also, he's very promiscuous. And if there's one thing about this I really want to criticize, it's the love interest thing. It's the romance. It's sloppy. It's sloppy because it's like she goes 1 minute from saying I will never ever have sex with you ever, and then she gets drunk one night, and then by the next day she feels possessive over him, almost as if they're already in a relationship, despite she said she'd never have sex with him. Right? It's confusing because, like, to play out a little bit, she says she's not attracted to him at all. She does call her mom and said there's something there, and if her mom ever had anything, and then they get drunk one night, and she asked him to kiss her, and Austin, the gentleman, said, "No, you're drunk. I'm not doing that," and then has to go on a mission while she's passed out. But then the next morning, he found out that he had sex with someone else. She gets all pissed. Like, she has the right to. They're not a thing at this point, and it's weird. Then they sort of just make up. It meant nothing to me, baby. And then, I don't know. It's just like 1 minute she says she's never going to have sex with him, and then the next minute, she was drunk, so it's not like her. They say when you've been drinking, your true feelings come out. It's like a truth serum. I don't know. But they meet number 2 at a casino where we meet number 2's female friend, Alata Fagina. Alata Fagina. Yes, which is, of course, because it means the same thing, pussy galore. It literally means the same thing, just like Odd Job and Random Task. It's the same thing. That's what the play on. Why is it when I'm doing interviews I have to fart all the time? I'm sorry if I do that. I just have to. So Austin later in the film, after this is when he takes care of the Patty O'Brien, and we get the whole bathroom scene. Good Lord, man, what did you eat? But yeah, just so after getting drunk with Vanessa. By the way, I understand there are some scenes in this that people might find a little inappropriate now. He's basically throwing himself on top of her when they're in the plane. Yeah, might be a little icky, but once she lays out the law, he stops. Basically, because he is from the 60s, but that's no excuse. I know, but it is very quick, and he is a gentleman throughout most of the rest of the film. So, Vanessa is passed out in the bed. He goes to Alata Fagina's penthouse where he comes across her because he needs to get information. And yeah, we get a hot tub scene. And yeah, I don't know what all he says, but he's in there, he farts, and he's like, she's like, how dare you fart before me? Well, I'm sorry, baby, I didn't realize it was your turn. And he makes some kind of weird soliloquy. It did go down, but I don't know. But yeah, it is implied that they did do it. Oh, another joke. The first time it happens with the waitress in the 60s where he punches her out and said, "It's a man, that's kind of funny." But then it happens with Basil's mother, and it's not a man, it's just Basil's mother. And I don't know, that one's never been funny to me. Even when I was a kid, I was like, Why did they think that would be funny? Because he did it earlier, so you think he's in it. But he does it again throughout the other films, and it is a man in disguise in the other times. Why does this one stick out as the only time it wasn't? I don't know. Dr. Evil also finds out that they froze his sperm, his, his special juice, and they used it to create his son, Scott Evil. This is later retconned in the sequel, but for purposes of this film, that's how it was done. And Scott Evil is played by Seth Green. Apparently, Colin Quinn was supposed to play this role. I think he's too old. I think Colin Quinn is in his 40s at this point, right? He's too close in age to Myers for that to work. Seth Green was, I mean, I know he was frozen, but like, I don't know. Seth, it was supposed to be for 30 years, so Seth Green was appropriate age. I don't think Colin Quinn was. And Seth Green is the angsty 25-year-old who, you know, doesn't want anything to do with his dad, to have a therapy scene where Carrie Fisher is there. And later he's like, oh, I killed the whole therapy group. Okay. And then, I don't know. Yeah. This all leads to the finale after Austin and Vanessa make up. Basil sends them on a mission to take out Dr. Evil, because Dr. Evil has done the old Bond villain thing of holding the world hostage with nuclear weapons for $100 billion. Yes, $100 billion. And he says, though, even if they do pay, he's still going to unleash the nuclear weapons. So they get ready for that. Austin and Vanessa show up in disguise. Austin's not wearing a very cultural appropriate costume. He's dressed like a Indian person, a Swami. I said, that's what they called them in Scooby-Doo, a Swami. Little turban on their heads, Middle Eastern, big beard, turban on his head. I don't know what to call that, but I don't think it's culturally appropriate. She's like a cowgirl or something. Earlier on, we're introduced to the fembots, who I guess are supposed to be parodies of the mind-controlled women from Majesties. Here they're just robot women, and Austin defeats them by sexily dancing to I Touch Myself. I close my eyes. I want you to love me. Yeah, in this British underwear. And hairy chest, which was modeled after Sean Connery, although a lot of people say he looks more like Michael Caine, which works because that's who ends up playing his dad in the third one. But yeah. I think this movie parodies Bond pretty well, especially the 60s era Bond. You have it very much like You Only Live Twice, with the way it kind of goes with the weirdness, like with the weird underground layer of sorts. But yeah, they defeat the fembots, but Dr. Evil gets away. I think number 2 dies here. I don't remember. I think he does, because he turns on Dr. Evil and wants a business deal with, because he spent all that time with money, making over millions of dollars, and Dr. Evil was going to throw it away or something. I love how he has Vanessa hostage, and he's like, now surrender. And he's like, he grabs Scott, and he's like, now let Vanessa go. Go ahead, shoot him. We talked about this in group. I had the group killed. And, yeah, so Dr. Evil gets away in his big boy again and is frozen. I don't know why he's frozen this time with Mr. Bigglesworth, his cat. But Austin is commended for this, and he and Vanessa get married, and we get that gag where they put things in front of themselves to making, these medins, and again, the picture of the boobs. What's the point of putting it in front of it? Because they're not real boobs. Again, it's a PG-13 movie. I don't know how that could. I don't know. One of the most confusing things is a scene that was deleted, but it's in the British version of the film for some reason in the UK, is that the actress, what is her name? Lois Chiles, who played Holly Goodhead, I believe was the character she played in Moonraker, was supposed to play the wife of the guy, Michael McDonald's character, who was squished by the steamroller in a scene that it's kind of dark. You see why they took it out, but why is it only in the British version? I don't know. Because it's that actress, and they would recognize Bond actress more there than here. I don't know. But yeah, and this. So upon reading, there's something weird here, because here is their honeymoon. When the second film picks up, they're still on their honeymoon, right? But after the film ends the honeymoon, we get a montage of him taking pictures of Vanessa and like modeling thing. And I'm like, so when did this happen? Did this happen after the scene where he says she should be a model? And they did that? Because if that's the case, then maybe that's a little more character building between them that we missed, and maybe it didn't feel so forced and sloppily put together with the love interest thing. I don't know. Oh, and here in the honeymoon, we get the reappearance of Random Task, who throws his shoe at Austin and does nothing but him go, that really hurt! You know, but he's taken out, and they celebrate. I do like when Basil, because he has a little tablet thing right on his crotch. He's like, hello, Austin. Oh. Because it's right there. Imagine popping on a thing to talk to someone and their junk is just right in front of you. Ew. Imagine that. Imagine you were on like Skype or something and you called someone and they had it right in front of their junk. Like no pants or underwear, just their junk was right there, and you know what I mean? Oh. And they live happily ever after to the second one where they ruin this. And I understand it's a Bond thing, but I've never liked what they did to Vanessa in the sequel. But this one is pretty good. Pretty good. I've always preferred the third one myself. We'll see if it goes up and down as we go along. But, yeah, this is still pretty good. I enjoyed it. That's for sure. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scott, and I'll see you in the next one.